All right. For number 4, land developer. By attempting to preserve endangered species that otherwise would become extinct during our lifetime, we are wasting money on species that will disappear over time regardless of our efforts. All right, so this land developer thinks like, hey, by trying to preserve these endangered species, we're actually just wasting our money and time because they are going to disappear eventually anyways. So, just why are we doing this? Paleontologists have established that extinction is the normal fate of species on the geological timescale of millions of years. And the land developers' support for this is like, hey, these paleontologists say that extinction is just normally what happens whenever we live, on the scale of millions of years. All right, and then our environmentalist responds, to claim that we should let species disappear because all species eventually die out makes about as much sense as arguing that we should not spend money to find a cure of cancer because all humans are inevitably immortal. All right, so the environmentalist responds to this land developer by, in my own words, I would say putting this into context or using an analogy. He's kind of like, hey, if we are going to use your reasoning and apply it to other situations, this is what that sounds like. This is a reasoning question because it says the method the environmental uses. I already gave my prediction, so let's go ahead and dive into these answer choices. A, clarify a dilemma that is embedded in the land developer's argument. Do we clarify or do we explain a dilemma? I don't think so. So let's go on. B, attack the character of the land developer rather than the position to the land developer is taking. So this is a flaw where it's like an appeal to authority flaw or appeal to emotion where you're just attacking like the land developer themselves rather than what the land developer is actually arguing for. This is not what's happening here. C, show that more evidence is needed to substantiate the land developer's conclusion. This is saying that, hey, we need more proof, or we show that there is more proof needed to have any credibility to the land developer's argument. No, we don't advocate for having more proof. D, show that the land developer's line of reasoning would lead to an unacceptable conclusion if applied to a different situation. Yes, I love this if applied to a different situation because that's kind of what we're talking about with this analogy. We're like, hey, if we would use what you set up here and apply it to this situation here of not spending money to find a cure for cancer, we're trying to use it as an analogy to discredit the land developer's opinion. So I really like D. And then E says, argue that there are problems that money, however judicially spent, cannot solve. No, that is not what the environmentalist is saying at all. Really pay attention that we're talking about what does the environmentalist use to discredit the land developer. And so that is why our answer is D.